It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Aaron Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome into another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Aaron Saunders. Oh, we threw on the shades too, by the way, as I was playing the intro music there, taking the afternoon drive. And a third guest on today's episode, Julianne Pelusi. If you've watched the stuff on the channel, you are familiar with some of the stuff that she came in and has been doing for us. Julianne, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm actually in Italy right now, so it's later here than it is for you guys. I don't need the shades, but Alan, they look really cool.
There we go. Also, hold on. Before we dive into Italy, which is probably, I'll say the second coolest part about what's been said so far, we got to get your thoughts on our intro music, the voiceover that we got there. Everybody that comes on here, we need feedback on what we got going on here. We think it's awesome. Love the logo. Love the entire presentation. We always say we're starting you off with as good as it gets. And then even if the show sucks, we at least know that the intro is going to be great. So what are your thoughts on the intro to Steelers Afternoon Drive?
Okay, so first of all, we start out rock and roll. It's cool. We come in. Alan's got his shades on. That's really like the only way that this should go. Yeah, music is cool. I think the graphic is awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know who made that. I don't know.
The audience knows who made that. Dylan Winters. We actually had him on the show earlier this summer. That was really cool. That was really fun.
That's a
and Brandon Rossai did the voiceover, who has also been on the show in the past. We've introduced people that have made this whole thing come together, and we're so appreciative for very gradually, I would say, on the podcast here. But eventually, everybody that's kind of brought this whole thing together has been on here, and we're so thankful for them because we absolutely love our own intro. We are very much patting ourselves on the back for what we got going on here to kick the show off. Julianne, as we had Joe Morrison on the podcast yesterday. And big portion of we love talking ball with him, but also wanted to talk about a new show that is going to be debuting. And you know what? That just might be the reason that you're here as well. But we'll get into that at the end of the episode. Excited to talk about that and excited to be adding to the content that we got going on here at Steelers Now. But Alan's first things first. Today was Wednesday, which is the big day in terms of practice, getting ready for week 1 here against the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers had some comments today, and they were either stuff that you want to read into maybe, but Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers in the media, not necessarily a whole lot to take on the surface. So if you're somebody that wants to read into stuff, certainly maybe there was something there. What did Aaron have to say?
Well, first of all, we clarified that the Hot Metal Bridge, which I just drove over here on the south side, is Aaron's favorite bridge in Pittsburgh. I don't know why that was a question that was asked of Aaron Rodgers today, but it was. And so the more you know. I feel like that was influenced by its proximity to the Steelers practice facility, which is right at the end of it, but also Greenfield, which is where Mike McCarthy's from, is of course just across the Hot Metal Bridge from the Steelers practice facility. So this is the center of Aaron's Pittsburgh world here. I don't know why we talked about that today. You got to understand when you have a star quarterback of the level of Aaron Rodgers, every press conference so far has been like just an absolute mess in terms of like you have national people, you have random people asking very random questions. So like I wanted to ask a real like football heavy like what makes Sauce Gardner a tough matchup. Yeah, we don't have those. We have how do you feel about going back to play against the New York Jets, which of course Aaron Rodgers did not answer. He said twice when asked about emotions and going back to New York. I'm just excited it's week 1.
Okay. All right. Do you buy into that? Or do you think that there is obviously, he knows what he's going there to do, what the goal is, but there's got to be some extra motivation, right? He wants to show that it was more about the Jets and their situation than it was Aaron Rodgers himself that sunk that ship.
Well, I think there's a lot. He went on Pat McAfee's show, like disrupting his offseason cone of silence, basically to just talk trash on the Jets. Like you are not going to convince me that the guy is just like perfectly hunky-dory with the way things ended in New York. He clearly was upset about the way things went with them releasing him, the conversation that he flew across the country for to only be ignored. He wasn't happy about that. And you get a competitor the level of Aaron Rodgers that upset about something. He was so upset that he went on national TV to go talk about how upset he was. Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty highly motivated to win this game. Also, not dumb enough to give them a bulletin board moment today either. But you're not going to convince me that he doesn't very badly want to beat the Jets just because they're the Jets. But I also think you kind of hit the nail on the head there too. I think his entire coming to Pittsburgh has been motivated by not wanting an awful 2 years with the New York Jets to be the period on a Hall of Fame NFL career, that he wanted to go somewhere else and prove that the lack of success at the end of his career wasn't about him. It was just that the Jets are a hopeless train wreck and nobody can win over there. And so, yeah, I think there's an awful lot of motivation for Aaron Rodgers to win this game, whether he wants to admit it or not. I don't buy this at all.
Julie, it would be impossible for anybody to ignore the career of Aaron Rodgers. My mom is not a very big sports fan. She knows exactly who Aaron Rodgers is and what he's accomplished. Yeah. So, I just your thoughts.
As the discount double check guy more so than the Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. Listen, there are people in my family who don't even get to the discount double check, so they're doing okay. I just think that he is, especially with local media, he gets on with somebody like Pat McAfee and he's extremely comfortable. He's talking football with another football guy and another larger than life personality and kind of just lets go. Whereas with us, he's pretty stoic. He likes to show off that stoicism and that, he's not going to let that. He got burned by the Jets, and he's not going to let that. He's not going to let it show that does affect him. Anybody's going to be affected by that. And I think going into this week, it really does mean more to him. And he let that show. But he's not going to let it show with us.
Yeah, no, that's a good point in terms of just like, I guess his willingness to open up more, just depending on who it is who he's having the conversation with. Pat McAfee situation is obviously very different from talking to Alan Saunders and his peers there. Alan said,
I didn't even get a question in, so he didn't talk to Alan Saunders at all today.
I've been through that circus. When Josh Allen started heating up when I was covering the Bills, it was like, this is our house. It's so hard to get a question in. I understand.
But we did find out about his favorite bridge, so that was more important than whatever I was going to ask.
At least we got that out of it. Yeah. I can't wait to see the articles written about it. Alan, I do want to ask, this is steering away conversation a little bit, but there are some people that will ask like very niche questions about your job sometimes. So I feel like this is a good place for one of those to take place. Is there a level of like, do you get frustrated about that because of, the amount of coverage that is there for that one specific player and you're not able to get that question in?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'll tell you when it's really frustrating is like, I don't need to hear myself talk. I don't care if I don't get to ask a question. Like, I don't feel any type of way about me not getting to speak. I don't care. But I think and look, I don't, specifically, did I want to know about his thoughts about facing Sauce Gardner? Yeah, I did. But like, is that some sort of incalculable loss for the greater knowledge of the beat? Like, no. But sometimes I don't get to ask a question and nobody asks an important question. And then I'm really upset that we asked about his favorite bridge. Like today, I'm being a little bit facetious in my anger, but there are some times where you don't get your question in and nobody asks what was an important question that we all needed to know. And then I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? Yeah, that definitely happens.
Yeah. Because other than, I don't know, Packers week, like this is probably the most important week to talk to Aaron Rodgers.
I totally get it. Like I'm not bad mouthing my national colleagues who have a job.
No.
And like that,
I'm just speaking to the importance of getting pertinent questions on the table for him to answer, and that not being the case always. So anyways, just wanted to work that one in there while there seemed to be the place, because we'll get questions sometimes that'll be like, hey, what is training camp like for you, or what is the day-to-day? So where I was able to work that in.
People like that stuff, so I got no problem answering that.
Okay, so other than Bridges and Aaron not caring whatsoever about facing the New York Jets, did he have anything else to say? I thought you threw something into the group chat about how he feels about the tight end room.
Oh man, he said this is the best tight end room he's ever played with. 1 through 4, said 4 repeatedly.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, clearly, like, Darnell Washington as a third tight end is like an embarrassment of riches, right? I mean, like that's pretty obvious that's a really deep group. And whichever one of Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith you want to call tight end number 2, there probably aren't 3 tight end 2s in the league better than whoever. I mean, maybe not any. Like, is there another tight end 2 as good as either of those guys?
I mean,
probably not.
Again, going back to the 1A, 1B, like Andrews Likely is probably.
Yeah, Likely is probably. Yeah. I don't know. Would you say Likely is better than Jonnu Smith? I mean, Andrews has had a better career than either of the Steelers guys. I'll definitely say that. But like, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear the Steelers have the best depth situation at tight end. Also, it was interesting that, like, he was asked about Pat talked earlier today, and he said he feels like they're going to be able to use the middle of the field more effectively, which, like, duh, because they used the middle of the field about as ineffectively as you possibly can over the last couple of years. So that's obvious, but he was asked, using that as the framing of the question, and I thought it was interesting that that's where he took it. That, like, yeah, because we have all these really good tight ends. I'm not sure how much we've talked about. I mean, obviously we talked about the idea of using Jonnu Smith as like a sort of replacement for their lack of wide receiver 2, but I'm not sure we've really laid out like just how dominant the Steelers tight end room is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and how much of an asset that is going to be to this team. I thought it was interesting that he framed it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get Julie's thoughts here too. I mean, just looking at like the depth chart, I know that there's some parallels obviously between what Pat and Jonnu can do, but I think it's also like very notable the different skill sets that are brought within those. I mean, Darnell very clearly so much different than those 2 guys at the top. And then what Connor does from a special teams perspective that the other 3 don't provide in that way. So yeah, just very, very different as well. Embarrassment of riches within that room. Julie, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think it's no secret that they plan on using these guys a lot. It's just that they can do so much. It seems like we have no idea what all and how much they're going to push this embarrassment of riches out there. But I entirely agree with you, Alan. I mean, when you look at their 1 and 2 and then their 3 being Darnell Washington, I mean, that just blows you away. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure that, he's talking with everybody and he's finding a way to get all of these guys into the mix. And he kept saying 4. Like you said, he kept saying 4. So it's really intriguing to me, but I do believe him when he says that this is the best that he's had in terms of depth. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, even from like an alignment perspective, I think, again, going back to like when we acquired Jonnu Smith, there were some people that was saying, oh, this completely takes away the need for that second receiver that can play the Z. And I'm not there with it yet, but I do think it mitigates some of what isn't there in the receiving room right now. And also I would add, honestly, the pass catching ability of a Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell within that too, with their ability to mitigate some of what is there or isn't there within that wide receiver room. Alan, anything else interesting from Aaron?
Yeah, he was asked about like whether he still gets nervous for week 1, and I thought he gave a pretty funny answer. Just like he's like, I'm not nervous on Wednesday. I'll let you know if I'm nervous by Sunday. Like, but I hope I am. And I thought that was just an interesting answer. Whereas, like, because if I'm not nervous, if I don't have butterflies in my stomach in week 1, then I probably should have just hung them up. Like, if I'm not still feeling that sort of anxious pregame feeling, then it doesn't matter enough to me. And I think that was a really insightful and interesting answer.
As you were talking there, and before you got to the butterflies part and should have hung them up if you don't, that's exactly what I was going to add to that, if that didn't come up in the conversation, because I think that you have to feel that that's like a necessary feeling, I think, as an athlete. Great athlete myself can definitely speak to this. You got to have those butterflies to go out there and compete at the highest level. And Julie, your conversations obviously with athletes throughout the years, I'm sure can speak to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Smitty, I wasn't aware of your game, man. I didn't know.
Nobody is actually. Yeah,
it's the best
overlooked
secret in all of Beaver County history.
Go back and find that 8th grade Monaca football tape and turn it on.
There you go.
I'm gonna go hunting for it. So I was a cheerleader in high school, middle school, and my dad had the briefest stint in the league. And my dad got asked to come speak to our 8th grade football team. And the first thing he says is, "Do you want to know what NFL stands for? Not for long." And just went on to talk about like how to build your life. And it was something like none of the guys wanted to hear, but it's practical and it's applicable. But, I just watched so many guys walk away from this game, and it's not because they wanted to. I forget who said it, but somebody just retired from the NHL, and he said, and he got asked on a podcast, what made you come to this decision? He was like, well, it was a mutual decision between me and all 32 other teams. So, nobody's picking him up. But I just, to be able to have that luxury like Aaron Rodgers is going to have is, keep playing until your love of the game runs out. You run into that so rarely now in this league. And it's like eventually your time's up and it stings. And a lot of guys just don't want to go. So you know what? I really haven't come across it a ton in my career with guys that I've covered because they're like scratching and clawing to hang on to what they know,
Sure. Absolutely. I think somebody that continues to push the envelope in terms of how long is he going to be able to prolong his career, not just playing, but playing at a high level is Cam Heyward. And he was on the field today in a full capacity, Alan, which I don't know for whatever reason, like it's been happening. And yet people are surprised when they see it happening. Maybe because of his comments publicly, but sure didn't look like a guy in the clips that you posted and posted by others that's a guy planning to not play on Sunday after the work that he put on Wednesday.
He's gonna play. I can't imagine Cam Heyward not playing. If there was any intention of him to not play, he would not be at practice right now, taking reps away from someone that would need them in order to replace him. When TJ was still in an uncertain contract situation, what was that, 2022 or 21? 21. He did not practice in the week leading up to week 1. He probably there was a chance that TJ Watt was not going to play if they did not get that contract done. I do not get that sense about Cam Heyward. No one is surprised that he's practicing now. He'll be perfectly ready for the season. Cam Heyward took exactly as many reps from the start of training camp till now as the Steelers wanted him to. He did not miss a single rep that anyone is upset about. I can't believe this is even still a story. I know he's gonna play. I don't know if they're gonna get a contract done, but no one is bothered by or worried about Cam Heyward inside Water Street at all. It's just not. It's like a non-issue for the entirety of the team. But the fan base seems real riled up about it still.
I mean, Steelers fans upset? That never happens. I don't know what we're talking about. Julie, from your seat, which happens to be in Italy right now, outside looking in, what's your read on what's going on here? And maybe you can better speak to just what you're seeing too, like Alan's talking about within the fan base reception to this.
So I haven't been around practice, so it's just hard to tell. But from what we know from Cam Heyward, I just totally agree with Alan. He's going to play. Cam, in his life and in his football career, from what we see, is a do the next right thing type of guy, right? And I think he's trying to fight for something that he wants right now. It's looking like things aren't going to go exactly his way. I don't see him running and crying and getting away from this situation. I think he's fought for what he wants, but eventually push is going to come to shove. That's going to come on Sunday, and I think we're going to see him out there.
Yeah, rubber's going to meet that road on Sunday, and I expect him to be out on the field, unlike Derek Harmon. And Alan, I don't know if you can speak to this at all, but we talked about how much would we even see from him should he be out there, just because of yes, he's listed as a starter, but how often does that role play? We're going to see more of Heyward and Benton anyway, typically. But in that Derek Harmon role, I know that we said we'd see like a rotating cast of characters. Who is it that gets that first crack, though? Is it an Isaiah Loudermilk, who saw a good bit of reps with the ones, honestly, through training camp? Or is that kind of different from what your feel is?
Yeah, I would expect if there's a base rep to go out there early in the game that it'll be Loudermilk with Benton and Heyward. The Jets do have a fullback on the roster, so I really think the Steelers are going to be very hesitant to play base this year, but that is probably the one instance where you would, if you get a fullback in there, like they're going to have to go base. Their tight end depth is atrocious, so I don't think it'll be like 13 personnel. They're starting Mason Taylor, who's like a mid-round pick. Mason Taylor, whose father went to high school right over there. I think it'd be Loudermilk, but I think, if it happens later in the game, they'll just kind of keep the rotation going. Like, if, because Mike Tomlin talked about in week one, you rotate your D-line a lot anyway. Guys aren't used to the reps. And so, like, Equale and Y.A. Black yes, I think Loudermilk will get the first rep, but, like, I don't think he'll out-snap those guys by more than a handful either. Like, I think they'll all be involved.
In kind of bringing the injury element in this, no Harmon, but a name that we had brought up being banged up, but we haven't heard about this week. Does this just mean all systems are good to go with Keanu Benton? Because I know there was a little something going on there, but his name not mentioned at all this week.
Is banged up, but is going to play, I would say, is the outlook for a number of guys. Keanu Benton, Christian Kuntz, obviously, among them. Yeah. But yeah, banged up, but definitely going to play. And then the other category there, as I will say, is like healthy with an asterisk, and that's Calvin Austin and Alex Highsmith. They look like they're ready to go, but anytime you're coming back from a soft tissue injury, I just feel like until you kind of get that first one over with, there's always a little bit of hesitation about the possibility of a re-injury.
We'll lump these together and then obviously get Julie's thoughts on just how this is all going to come together as well. But Nick Herbig limited today, but back in pads, which is certainly the arrow pointing in the right direction at the very least. Hesitant to say, for sure he's going to be out there on Sunday or anything like that, but pointing in the right direction for sure. I mentioned yesterday to you, Alan, I wanted to pick your brain about, okay, say it is like at the Marvin Leal having to come up or something like that. Would we see Sawyer take a back seat even though he made the 53 over him? But, then the thought enters your mind, this is a football team that wants to run the ball in the New York Jets that they are going against. And also the fact that, like, Jalen Ramsey, I think they're better equipped on the back end of things now with what they have because he's a really good run defending nickel. Does that kind of lean you to say, maybe we do see more of Jack Sawyer than we thought because of how much this Jets team's going to run the ball?
Yeah, I think this is a Jack Sawyer game, sort of regardless of whether Herbig plays or not, because of how much. Look, the Jets' offensive line is not very good. They're starting a rookie at tackle. Today learned that Elijah Vera Tucker is believed to be out for the year with a triceps injury, starting some kind of backup situation at guard. They don't really have a good backup guard, so it might involve moving Joe Tipman from center to guard. That's a disastrous offensive line situation. And so, Justin Fields holds onto the ball forever. They have a bad situation at wide. I don't see how the Jets can possibly sit here as they're game planning for this game and fathom that they're going to be successful throwing the football. Like, it's just not going to work. They have to run the ball. I think Aaron Glenn will want to run the ball anyway. I think he'll want that to be his team's identity. So, I can absolutely see this being a game where, just 60 uninteresting rushing attempts from both sides, honestly, where, nobody's running the ball well, but that's all they dare to do anyway. And I can definitely see, because of that, you end up with, 11-play drives. That's how you get into situations where you got to lean on your front seven depth. And so I absolutely think this will be – and I think that's the biggest place that Jack Sawyer could possibly have an impact. And that's when you want him in the game. You don't want him in there on 3rd and 10. His pass rush did not look NFL ready in the preseason, but I think he can definitely have an impact against the run right away.
So, con to that game script, it's not going to be very interesting to watch from my perspective on television. Pro, you'll probably text me less than 2 hours after the game starts and be like, walking up now for post game. The game moving along quick could definitely play
Smitty,
a role
you
here.
keep the fan feelings in your heart, but you're starting to understand the media perspective about game time. Win or lose, but get it over in 2 hours. Like that's absolutely what we're looking for here.
Dang it, it's happening. Pretty soon I'm gonna start yelling at clouds and stuff too. But Jolie, the team against Zachary Smith's best wishes did spend that 4th round pick on Jack Sawyer to bring him in. Again, nothing against Jack Sawyer as a player. I'm actually an Ohio State fan, so I root for him. However, I wanted a wide receiver in that spot, or maybe a nickel corner. This is before the Jalen Ramsey edition. Yeah, what is your read on what Jack Sawyer can bring to the table here? And maybe, like Alan was saying there, could we see more of him on Sunday than we were anticipating?
You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. And these are kind of some of the things that I missed when I'm half a world away. I'm taking the under overall, and I'm definitely taking the Jets under on points. I think that this defense, no matter what they do, how they fill in for injuries, who's in, who's out, I think they're just like Alan talking about the Jets offensive line, and Justin Fields holding on to the ball forever. I can't fathom them putting up more than a touchdown in this game.
Oh, I got it. 13-9 final. We get the Chris Carter meme on Twitter.
Okay. Fine. It's hard to. Well, one of the reasons 13-9 became a thing is that it's hard to get to 13-9. Right. That is a difficult score to acquire. But yeah, I could be on board with that.
I mean, it's five total field goals, 3 from the Jets, 2 from the Steelers,
and
one
then
Steelers
I think
touchdown.
Everyone that calls in to the Steelers radio network should just mention that to Wes Euler for about an entire week. WVU alum who does a little work over there. We can.
I would hate if that happened.
Yeah, I might start that in the press box. Actually, that would be appropriate.
It's such a shame that we're mentioning it on a platform right now where people are watching or listening and can then do that on Sunday. It's such a shame that we're doing this.
I would be fine with that.
Anyways, Julie, you just mentioned there about, betting wise what you're thinking about doing on Sunday.
Just a little tease there.
Maybe a little tease. Maybe you've been around the block once or twice. I guess first off, Alan, do we got anything else that we got to cover from today before we dive into this?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Mentioned yesterday, had Job on here. There's more content coming to the channel. Julie's on here today. There's more content coming to the channel. Julie, if people are watching right now, they're obviously familiar with you. You've been doing some stuff with Alan, Dan on the site and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do we got? We're chomping at the bit to find out what's coming to the channel.
All right. So we have Pelusi's Pick'em. So it's going to be one of the things we want to get onto this page is your fantasy, your gambling, all of that kind of content into one place so you can figure out, while you're watching the game and other games across the NFL, what are you going to be looking for here? So really, really excited to debut that tomorrow with Alan's going to be on with me. So very excited for that. It's going to be the first time that we've kind of tapped into that gambling aspect. And I have thrown a few teasers in there. Definitely the Steelers, Steelers Jets, the under, and the Jets with the under on points. But a little Johnny Smith action tomorrow, what I'm going to tease.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Alan, maybe you could mention any Steelers prop there and I would have been like, yeah, I love it. So
sounds good.
I'm easy to win over. Alan, get your perspective on this, obviously add more content to the channel, why you felt like this was an addition worthy of making.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really spent a lot of time this offseason looking at what we have, what we don't have, and what can make this channel better. And I feel like you and I and DB have certainly made our game picks on Fridays for a couple of years now. And that was one, but we did not have like a dedicated space to talk about fantasy football, about sports betting in general, and of course on the Steelers specifically, since that's the whole point of this entire channel's existence. But I think that was a space that we were lacking. Dan brought Julie in, and she's done a great job hosting for us too. I just wanted to give her a space to do something that's more hers. And I think that's something that we're missing. And I think it's something with universal appeal. Everybody I know has a fantasy football team or is into daily fantasy or is betting on the game. And so I just think it's it's a big part of being a football fan in 2025 that we could get some engagement with, and I'm excited for it. So it's going to be every Thursday night. So we'll have Job on Wednesdays and Julie on Thursdays, and we're seeing how this evening content goes, because I mean, there's 3 other days of the week there that feel like they're, in the future could fill out a whole little roster there, and that could be fun. So I'm open to more ideas always. If you guys in the audience have ideas or thoughts for more content on the channel, keep it coming and send it our way. And that's what we're looking for here.
Speaking of comments from people on the channel,
Smitty, we segued like a couple old pros today. I gotta say, again, it's just that every single one has been on point.
Yep, I have been podcasting longer than TJ Watt has been a Pittsburgh Steeler. Again,
okay.
Anyways, Matt Nerdy
Old
said
head
this.
Smitty.
Yeah, I don't love hearing that. But Matt Nerdy said this, and by the way, Alan hearted this comment. I did not heart this comment.
Okay.
By the way, takes a shot here. I guess I can appreciate this. Hey guys, national news got so bad that I stopped watching it. Found Deke and the Steel Twins. Local people in Pittsburgh decided that this is actually way better. Found Smitty, really liked him. Then saw that he did something with Alan. Didn't know Alan had a YouTube channel. Always been aware of Alan and a few of the other beat writers' work. Chris, DB, Nick, and Noah are my favorites. You guys give all quality information in a format that is pleasing to be around and easy to consume. Thanks for everything you guys do. Have a wonderful day. Who do you
That's
find
awesome.
first?
So am I hearing that somebody found Alan through you, Zach?
Yes. That is what we're hearing.
So we're
right there in print.
bring this up all the time.
He has been doing this longer. He has been doing this longer. I mean, I reached out to Smitty because I considered him the podcast expert here. This is his game.
I love the show, guys. I listen to you guys when I go for a run, and then like if I'm going a little too hard, I rewind because I missed something. So yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because you're on a run, you're just listening to the intro over and over again because that's what.
I know. Yeah.
I don't care about what the guys are going to say. I just want to hear the music over and over again.
We could just like an hour-long playlist of just
the looped
version of the intro.
So Thursday nights, Julianne Pelusi. Yeah. How sweet is that, by the way, when your last name just fits so perfectly?
I know it fits in. I know it took me a while. I mean, so Alan and I talked about this 2 months ago, and he's like, here's maybe something that we could bring to the table here, something new. And so when I was in Buffalo, this is something that I really wanted to do. And I would tweet out like Bill's prop of the week. And it was always right, I will say. And I did it for a little bit. And like a couple of my buddies on the beat, Matt Beauvais and Dan Fates were like, we need to get you a gold chain. And I thought it was like so cool. And then one of my mentors is like, hey, while you're working at the NBC affiliate, like, I don't know if you should keep doing this. And I wanted to keep doing it so badly. So Alan brought it up. And I am just so excited to have a platform to be able to do this because it's something that I've loved for so long, for decades now, which is showing my age.
I'm super excited to have it added to this and be able to tune in every week. I always make the joke on here, like if something is happening, like, okay, in the case of Cam Heyward, I would say if I was a betting man, and then I'll say, go away from the mic and be a little bit and be like, I am. But I think it's going to play on Sunday. So, yeah, this is definitely up my alley. Looking forward to it happening. Super excited to see what you do with it and how you make it your own. So I can't wait to see it debuting. Did we say it's time? Do you know what time it's going to be?
8 o'clock.
What's that?
There we go. Alan knows.
8 o'clock shows.
Take us right into Thursday Night Football kickoff between Eagles and Cowboys.
Right?
Yeah, get them in.
Super excited for that. Other than tomorrow night on the channel hosting Pelusi's Picks, Julianne, tell the people they can find you.
At Julianne Pelusi on Twitter, and that's kind of all I got going right now. And right here on the podcast too, obviously on Steelers Now.
There you go. And if you're watching on YouTube, the name is literally right there on the screen right now, which is the great thing about doing this. Alan's is not. I don't know if it's. I know why. It's because you're in your car. If you're in your studio at home, it shows up there, but you didn't add it on the phone. So,
yeah. But
the people should know where to find you, Alan. But just in case,
Saunders _PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now, site's account SteelersNow.com. Go there. and read the words so I can get paid. Sign up for SN Plus, and you get the words with no ads. You get all the best content from me, DB, and the rest of the Steelers Now team, and access to our subscribers-only live streams, which we'll have another one here in the month of September. Not sure when that'll be, sometime after week 1, but we have a great time on those as well. And, of course, anyone can like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube platform. It really helps us grow this show and our growing roster of shows as we try to reach a bigger and bigger audience. And that number, ever since the start of training camp, it just keeps going up and up. Smitty, where are we at right now?
Yeah, not a good number in Steelers history. It's actually a joke right now how bad of a number this has been. It's kind of the Bo Bennett 19 of the Penguins for the Steelers right now, because we are at 16,611. Dante Moncrief.
That was the one you went
Justin
to
Hunter.
First? Why
I just made a joke about Dante Moncrief this week on Twitter, so it's kind of perfect.
Yeah. You were like, I know where I'm going with this.
Do you know what? Because somebody made the joke about reunions taking place this offseason between wide receivers and the team that they played on already in the past.
Steelers,
yeah, so it was a joke on Twitter, and I carried it over to here.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a good 11.
Justin Hunter.
We've done this before, and I think I used like Mark Stock back in the day. I don't think that I can't think of another one though.
Yeah.
Where are the numbers coming from? I'm missing out on this game.
The last digits of the number of YouTube subscribers. So right now we're at 16,611. So we pick a Steeler like in history, try to be obscure with it that wore that number, just to have a little fun on the channel. We've probably gone through every number multiple times now doing this, but it's
a fun game. I like it.
I can't think of a good 11. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know that there is one. That's the point of what I was saying. I think it's been a running joke.
That's
well, that goes along with not Allen Robinson right before him. Yeah, it's not been a good number for Steelers wide receivers as of late. Somebody's got to pick up the slack and change that. There was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, when I came on here to look at that number, it looks like a recycling logo. The green arrows that are pointing up. We are literally up on every number across the board right now on YouTube. So thanks to everybody that's been a part of that growing audience. Look forward to that continuing. Look forward to Julianne's first show taking place tomorrow night.
Also tonight, 8 o'clock, Steelers night shift debuts. Job Morrison. I'll be on with Job. So you're getting like 12 episodes with me this week. 13.
Yeah.
Count post game.
Give the people what they want.
8 o'clock tonight. Me and Job Morrison. Steelers night shift live. Your questions, me, Job, and the intro for that is Smitty's seen it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Steelers Afternoon Drive. I don't want to hype it up too much. The intro of that is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Too high of a bar. I'm gonna see Allen on my screen more than I did Jax Teller when I was binge watching Sons of Anarchy. That's how much he's gonna be on my screen with all these shows he's appearing on this week.
All I heard is that I look like Jax Teller. That's all I heard there.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, all right, this was a lot of fun. We're gonna get out of here. Again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hit us in the comments your thoughts, anything that we talked about today, question for a future episode. Alan's looking for suggestions for more content that we can put on the channel, so drop those down below. Leave us a 5-star review and subscribe if you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts from. We are there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok. You'll find me everywhere. Zachary Smith, PGH. For Julianne Pelusi, Alan Saunders, and myself, thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.